Welcome back, everyone. We're going into part 2 here of episode 94. Adam, what is going on?
As chat noticed earlier, we have new tokens. We have tokens for Maharib and for Yotazo. But we also, and I'll add this in the next time I get a chance, Voidwalker on the break posted the new Ramus token, and it's so cool. Stained glass, skull face, fire hands Ramus is so cool. So I just wanted to shout that out. And I'll add that next time. Yeah, that bad boy. Look at that. Damn. These are all so good. I love these tokens. Cool. So that's Voidwalker. If you want to see all of them, like all the ones we've used, because he's made multiple versions of like Berg and stuff too. They're on the community site. There's a thread called COS Characters New Style Gallery that is definitely worth a look because there's some good stuff in there.
Yeah.
Anyway, I just want to point that out because I'm so excited by it. Good job, Leon. Okay. So Ramus, Yota, and Maharib, you arrive at the city. The city you have been traveling to, the city of Bakna, northern capital, and we get the nice wide establishing shot of the city. Right, it's mountains with the ancient dwarven architecture. There are waterfalls that come out of what used to be like the statues' mouths, or like they're holding urns or whatever, but now they're just raw like waterfalls pouring out, arcing down into the basins of the river, and then flowing down off into the hazy distance, heading south towards the ocean. The city is built up kind of on the slope and then out into the surrounding area, and this place demarcates where the jungle sort of begins. About a mile out from the edge of the city, you can start to see the thickening of the terrain around the road. So any further travel here south will require traveling the jungle road, which is pretty well kept, or commissioning a boat to take you down Maybach to the other rivers. So at the edge of the city, we find Yota, Ramus, and Maharib, and you've lit the signal fire, Ramus, to draw Berg to you. Now, have you camped, or are you like you've just stopped at the side of the road? Like, what's the scene?
I think all I know that I started the fire and I'm using thaumaturgy to change its color every minute to signal Berg. And we don't know how long it's to take him to find us, so I guess we sort of not so much camped out, but we're just sitting down around the fire.
Okay. There are a couple of kind of filthy, shoeless refugee children standing at enough of a distance to seem like they're not standing right next to you, and they're staring at you as you do your magic trick of changing the color of the fire. Right? So the smoke, they're just like watching, and every time you pulse another color, they just like marvel at it. Where their parents are, fucking who knows? But yeah, right now they're.
Do you make any sort of response to that, Dan?
I don't think I don't sense they're there, or I just don't care.
Okay. I ask. I probably notice they're there because it's my job to notice they're there.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah,
and
they're unknown people, and they're standing near you.
Right. Yeah. I turn to Ramus. Master Krill, do you require me to remove your audience?
What audience?
There are several children watching.
Oh. I don't care. Scare them away if you want.
As you wish.
Oh, come on. Let them play. Let them stare.
Yeah. And now they're staring at the talking elephant man and his huge scary friend with the sword.
And I get up and I stand over them and I look at them. Hello. What's your name?
Okay, one of them is brave enough to talk. And they he says, he looks at you and he says, "Are you a man or an elephant?"
That's a very smart question. For I am both.
And they kind of like look at each other, and he points at another one and he says, "Well, he says you're an elephant that could talk. But I think you're a man that was turned into an elephant halfway. Which is it?"
I would say that I am a little bit of both.
And they kind of like that. Like that's a bullshit answer. And they look at each other. And one of the ones in the back, he's like, "Come on, let's go. He smells like my uncle." And they kind of like look at each other like, well, let's get out of here. And they get bored and scramble and run off. And we turn to follow them as they run. The camera turns around away from you, and you see a figure approaching. Now, Yota, you've never seen this imposing, beefy, green-skinned, betusked fellow before. And just as soon as Max puts food in his mouth, Max, can you describe Berg for us?
Right now, go.
Sure, I can.
God, I'm like a waiter every goddamn time.
A moment. Got one in my teeth there.
And whenever you're ready, just any time would be fine.
I gotta wash it down.
Berg has noodles in his mouth.
Yeah, right. He is picking shrimp out of his fucking teeth. Good
Sorry,
intro, Berg.
Yeah. Yeah. It's actually been a bit since I described him, and he changed before since being the Hammer of Heaven.
That's right. Heaven has
Berg-
perfected Berg.
You know, Berg is 7'1". He now I believe his armor would be adorned with kind of markings of heaven. He has long white hair that goes back into, I can't remember if we decided it was a man bun or if it was just like a braid thing that went back. I want to say
It
it
can
changes.
be both. It depends on it depends on how
changes.
you're wearing
Depends
it.
on the
today.
day. Depends on the day.
Yeah.
Yeah. Today, Berg has it kind of braided up and like going backwards. He probably had somebody in the town do that too. Actually, yeah. Matter of fact, he would have had some people of the town do it. And he has both tusks, both of them very, very perfect white ivory tusks. Going out, and he just looks fucking menacing, but in a like celestial kind of glorious, grandiose way.
Yeah, there's a majesty to him, right? Like there's a. I mean, Yota, can you make an insight check?
Okay. 10. Jeez.
Okay. Yeah, you can't place it, but this orc approaching you has. I mean, I don't know. You're used to being around. You were raised in a temple, and your people are sacred, and you recognize sacredness, though you've never felt it from an orc before. There is something of the touch of heaven about this creature that feels familiar to you. Berg, as you approach, you see, I think first, Yota, but also Maharib. Do you guys want to give a quick description for Max?
Sure. You want to go first real quick, Zeke?
Sure. Just a really just a tall chunk of elephant man. Taller than, like, it's a funny thing. We somehow landed on taller characters. 7 feet 10
Everybody's
inches
huge.
tall. With like just basic robes on, not basic clothes on, nothing like no armor, no like real weapons that you can see. Just slung at his side, tied to him, probably tied to his belt, is a huge wine jug. And the tusks are kind of stained with, like, they look like they've been wine stained as they go out. They get it fades as it goes out. Yellow eyes, thick gray skin, covered with a light fur like elephants are. But just you can even see like you have dark vision or whatever, right? You can see like the veins in his eyes are definitely like bloodshot and shit like that from just years of drinking. You can see that this elephant probably smells like a brewery.
Spent a little too long in the watering hole, as it were.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, and he's just a big, thick elephant man.
Cool. So Berg, you were raised. You've never seen one in real life. You've never seen one in real life before, but he's a one of the Gaja, like they're elephant people. They're sacred to the humans of the Court of Swords. You never seen one that like looks quite like this one before. Usually they are decked in, finery, right? Draped in gold, garlands of flowers. They're treated like living saints. This one, maybe not what you'd expect from your first time seeing one in real life.
Yeah, because people in the Court of Swords, they like worship elephants, right?
Yes,
like
elephants are a sacred animal. Yep.
Cool.
Yep. And then also looming nearby.
Yeah. Just quick rundown. 8 foot, 285, red-eyed, bald-headed man, basically. Wearing black dragon skull splint mail, a shield on his back with a giant two-handed sword that's giant in the sense of it's 7 feet tall itself. On its back, and a flail on its side. Bald, not all that attractive. And I guess since you have dark vision, you can kind of see the scars start right around his neckline and go down into his chest, but the armor covers it up.
Are you guys tired of Berg being the tallest? The fuck? I'm a giant. I'm a billion feet tall.
Listen, we just wanted to live up to the new name of the party, Team Trask, I think is what we're called now. Okay.
Oh.
Yeah. So so Berg, you see these two guys, and you see the fire, and standing next to the fire, you see a cloaked figure. I will let Dan decide how you wanna reveal Ramus. But I think Ramus, you recognize, like, you've been traveling with this dude a long time. You recognize the sound of Berg's footsteps, right? Like there's a familiarity about his approach that just like, yeah,
Does
he's
Ramus
coming.
look different from the last time I saw him, like a month ago?
I don't know. That's up to Dan to walk us through.
Ramus is has a black cloak on. You can see that he has a skull mask covering his face, because you would know that he's been looking worse and worse, and it's not pleasant to look at. People get frightened of him because if they see his face, he just doesn't look right.
Yeah.
Which is, it's saying a lot, given that a mask of a leering human skull is nicer to look at than Ramus's actual face. So that's significant.
So I'm just squatting by the fire. I'm just like, you found us, Berg.
Yes. I saw the colors in the sky.
Good. I see you've met our new companions. This is Berg. I've told you about him.
Berg just kind of looks at both of you guys. Well, I guess he's looking up at you guys. He's like, you can see him just scanning you guys, trying to see what he can make of you. And looks back at Ramus. He's like,
What is the matter, Ramus? Was I not tall enough?
Well, never hurts to have a little extra muscle.
and then Berg goes back to regarding, like, lays on Yota and just,
Is that what you are? Extra muscle?
I am Yotazo. And he does, like, from his noble upbringing, he knows sort of remembers how to do it right, but the bow, like of a noble, of like just acknowledging somebody else, but it's very sloppy and just like, I am accompanying your friend Ramus to the Court of Swords because we met drinking one night and I thought maybe it was time for me to go back and visit my family, along with doing whatever he needs to do, and maybe they could help. But it's a pleasure to finally meet you. The way Ramus talks about you, I've never heard him speak of anyone fondly, except you. Which is very strange.
Are you sure he was talking about me? Or himself?
In his way, he was. He would say mean things, but in such a fashion that was meant to be taken as a compliment. I'm sure you understand.
No, it's just a joke. Nice to meet you. Although, I have seen your kind. None quite like this. Very well. And what of you?
I was hired to do whatever Master Krill needed me to do. If that's bodyguarding, then that's what I'm here for. It is a pleasure to meet you, Master Berg. Do you have a surname?
Master Berg. Ramus, did you tell him to say that?
I didn't. He did it on his own. I do like when people call me master without me having to tell them.
That is why I asked. No. I am Berg. Known to others by many other names and titles. But I am Berg.
Understood. Master Krill, is there anything else you would need me for this day, or may I
Well,
visit the city?
the only thing you need to know about Berg is I've lost faith in many things over the course of my life. But my trust in Berg is one thing that's been unwavering. He's always been there and always will be. He's the most loyal companion I've ever had. I trust him with my life.
It is a pleasure to fight, potentially, by your side, Berg. And I, bow in respect.
Very nice to meet you. Let us hope you last longer than others we have known.
But not right away.
my eyes kind of dart back and forth. Yes, let us hope.
Berg, I have a great desire to know what is going on in the court these days. It's been long since I've returned, and I crave knowledge of the goings on.
Well, people come in, refugees, talk of a power, a group, controlling.
You said it was the South, right? Immersion broken.
Yes. Yep.
Yeah.
You got it.
Controlling the South, breaking apart the government, ruling their own way. Only stories. I don't know exactly what is happening, but people come with stories of flooding and all manner of horrible things. How much truth? What the scale of it all? I don't know.
Have you heard tales of anybody rounding up people, cutting their heads off and hands off, dumping them in mass graves? Anything of that sort cross your ears?
I don't know. Have I? I
don't
know if that's come up at all. I feel like even if it's like
that
vaguely
that
mentioned,
specific atrocity. Make a history check. Yeah, make a history check.
Okay.
It's very specific. Yeah. Oh, damn. Okay. Yeah. So you remember a conversation. I mean, shit, maybe it's just that it's top of mind because you heard it like yesterday. There were a couple of guys, they were drunk because they had, I guess, like managed to somehow get their hands on some coin. They're river like lands, like peasants essentially, who normally you wouldn't find anywhere except in the outskirts, which is where you are now. But they'd managed to get their hands on some coin, and they had come into the city, which is like the kind of main part of town. And they were in a bar, and they were kind of drunk, and they were talking about how they had a cousin who was supposed to meet them, and somebody else said, "Oh, your cousin's dead." And they were like, "What? Fuck you. My cousin's awesome. He's alive, him and his family." And they were like, "No, there are like bandits on the roads." And they're like, "No, we're in the north now. The north is safe." And the guy's like, "No, idiots. They're dead because these bandits, they're not coming from the south. They come down from the north looking to pillage. They know the Court of Swords is like all kinds of fucked up. So they come down here and they're killing people and burning their farms and mutilating their corpses." And then they're like, "No, you're wrong. That can't be true. Why would they mutilate the corpses?" And the guy that was telling the story was like, "I don't know. Maybe they think someone's going to do something with the bodies after they're dead." And then they all kind of awkwardly were like, "Ugh, God, well, fine. Let's just keep getting drunk and ignore this downer over here. We're going to get out of here. That's not going to happen to us. We're going to leave. We're going to go north and be safe."
Yeah. So for the sake of time, Berg.
Yeah, you passed that information along.
Yeah, I passed that information along, and like,
But that's all I've heard.
Is there no sense of order anymore? No sense of guards, a security force? Is it all just chaos?
Kind of, yes.
Yeah, really depends on where you are.
Why?
And then you see like my trunk kind of come up and like just in front of my face, not like probing you, but definitely like come up like to right about here, like nose level. And you hear Yota goes, "Side note, Mom, what did you eat? It's powerful. And where can I get some?"
Yes. Some noodles. Very good. You like spice?
I do.
Well,
Now about the chaos. Is there what is going on with the leadership of the court, the king, the queen, the like?
they are trying to find a new knight. He's been dead 3 years, maybe more, depending on who you ask.
Ramus, can you make a religion check for me when you hear that?
23.
Okay. Nice. Living up to your name. Okay. So yes, that is incredibly, if that's true, that is such bad news. That's so bad. Because like heaven protects the earth from the Mara, from bad things and from demons and shit, right? That's their job. And in exchange, humans tailor their behavior towards the worship of heaven. They follow the calendar that heaven laid out. They agree to the way that the religion is structured. They worship the arcana and they follow their path. Part of that deal, part of the accord that humanity made with heaven 10,000 years ago, there was always four. There was always four members of every court. There's always four members of every family. Four is a number of great auspicious regard. And if you break that four, if you do that, then you will lose the benefits of heaven's protection. So if a whole court is missing one of its corners, one of its four pillars, then everyone in that structure, everyone all the way down that pyramid, is in risk of the influence of demons.
Are you saying that this four system, they kind of create a wall of sorts, and if you break that fourth wall, all manner of craziness happens?
You need all four walls, because if you only have three walls, then you get all kinds of weird shit happening. So that's the deal. So Ramus, you hear that, like, if there is no night, then that means that, and each, both literally and cosmologically, each of the members of the court is responsible for a different facet of society. The knight, particularly, is the one responsible for things like the military, the sort of martial strength of a court. So if it is missing that aspect, then that part of society will be all wonky and fucked up through the whole court. All the way down to, like, every family will feel the results. So it's a lot.
It's not good. It's a bad omen. It's a very bad omen for the Court of Swords if they broke the rule of four.
Well, it's all sorts of fucked up here. Relatively safe. Here. Sometimes. Depending.
Berg's like, well,
kind of, like,
well.
depending on your perspective.
I'd chime in on I've probably been out of the group, so to speak, the social group just then, but I'd chime in. Master Krill, may I journey into the city? Is that our destination? Are we staying here?
Oh, yes. Berg, did you secure us lodgings?
I did. You will have to pay them. Coming soon. More expensive than I would have liked. But you have money.
How much money am I supposed to have?
What was it, 700?
700 gold, yep.
For how long?
I mean 700 gold. You got like a week before you got to pay. And also that was like for one person. Like, this guy, this guy's going to try to jack the price up on you.
Yeah. So he just goes,
Not important right now. You all are probably tired. Hungry. Yes.
You are not good at subtlety, Berg.
Who is Doug?
We'll talk about price later. Price.
God.
Can you imagine that?
I am Berg.
I am Yota. I am Maharib. I'm Doug. What's up, guys?
How's it going?
I'm Doug. I'm Carlos the dwarf. Yeah. Good.
Up.
Doug, this is Mike Truck.
Yeah, that's right.
You guys are
President
friends.
President Truck.
President
Yeah.
Truck, yeah. All right, I start getting the ox and everything kind of situated. In doing so, I turn around and, Berg, is there a place to store this?
What is it? You said it was the ox?
Yeah, the ox in this cart that we've been pulling.
I don't think there is, right? Right, Adam?
I mean, parking is not
in, like, the
included,
residence.
so
Extra.
yeah, not so
extra.
much. There's tons of like animals and shit out here, but nah, you don't see a ton of animals, like especially ox, like in the street.
That may be a little more difficult.
Master
At
Krill, if
least
it,
where we're staying. Is it your ox?
yes. Master Krill, if it is all right with you, I can find my own lodgings.
I prefer you be as close as possible. I may need you.
Well, perhaps we'll go to this place Berg has secured, and then we'll figure it out from there.
Good place to start.
Master Berg, would you mind leading us?
Sure. But I am no one's master. You do not serve me.
It's not meant that way, but
It also wouldn't be horrible if we were to stop by that place you ate, wherever that was.
Yes, it's on the way. Come.
Berg just turns and starts lumbering.
yep, I follow right behind with the oxen cart.
That's who's Doug. That's Doug. That's the that's
Doug's
the guy.
Noodles.
Doug's Noodles, right? Like,
That's his name, Old Dougie Noodles. So okay, all right. All
just
right,
speaks
so
in, like plain like I'm like English, like American English. What do you guys want? I got some good
Hey,
noodles
guys.
today.
yeah, welcome to Doug's. I'm Doug.
The noodles are
if you could leave
exceptional
me-
today.
Yeah, if you could leave me a
Choice.
positive review on Yelp, it would mean a lot to me. I'm just trying to build up my food truck business here. Me and Mike, the truck's named after him. We don't have trucks in this universe. They're named after my friend Mike. So welcome to Doug's Noodles. We got 3 flavors. So you're gonna stop by the noodle cart. But here's the thing, like Berg,
Well,
as soon as you and your new friends go into the town, like proper, right? As soon as you start getting into Bakna, you like people start paying a great deal of attention to Yota. There are people who some stare as he walks by. Others like come up nervously and try to touch him. There are people who, absent of an offering, like just like drop to their knees before him, and they're treating him with a reverence that maybe you didn't expect or didn't see before. Yota, how are you responding to this when people come up and like try to get you to like bless their babies and stuff?
I'm not ungracious, just ham-fisted with it. Like, I don't know how to do it, but I'll do it the best I can. So if they're like asking me to bless their baby, I just like kind of like put my trunk on their head and like do some gobbledygook, just gibberish symbol like in the air, like on their head, on their forehead. You know, like the priest does the sign of the cross or whatever.
Yeah,
I'm just do like
sure.
circle with like another circle inside of it, and then like a cross, then like a slash or something like
Happy
that. Just
face.
make it up.
Like, yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Throwing dicks in the air over people's heads. Okay.
Totally.
Bless you. Sign of the sacred
But
solemn.
I'm with stupid on their head.
Yeah. Right. Okay. So you're just trying to like give them what you think that they want, but like they don't. I mean, they're getting it right. Like they don't.
Yeah.
They've never met one of you before. But
And of
you
course,
also
I'm doing
notice
the traditional put my like suck up a little wine from my nose and like give a little sprinkle for everybody.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. Okay.
just went to Triple H. It's time to play the game.
Maharib, what's your passive perception?
13.
Cool. Thanks.
It's always
right.
the best one.
So where Yota, I guess Berg, where do you lead everybody? Are you heading into the kind of interstitial between the outskirts and the city?
Yeah.
Like where the building is?
Yeah. It's along the same route where the noodles was at. We stop
Yeah,
off at that thing there.
Doug's noodle cart is outside of your apartment. That's kind of where he hangs out.
Yeah. We're gonna find out later.
okay.
He's been spying on us the entire time. It'll be a big plot point eventually.
I mean, remember what happened? Remember what happened when you named Yancey? Remember that? Remember that, man?
I remember.
Yeah,
What do we know? Don't name.
he was
things.
totally
Technically,
fine.
it was Ramus
before. Yep.
Yeah, but to react to, like, I think when that commotion happens too, Berg like initially is like at first he thinks it's like for him because he's so used to it being for him, for a second. And Ramus maybe, but then he like realizes like it's more than normal, and he's like looks back at them like, and then probably sees Yota with like doing the thing with the baby. He's like,
Oh, right. Elephants. Remus, there's going to be a problem.
Perhaps, but it is a quite good distraction for getting us into town. We are noticed, but
Indeed.
we're surrounded.
I wonder if maybe we stay and eat for free in the company of an elephant man.
They respect him. They do not respect us.
Well, perhaps if they know we're with him, maybe some respect will come with that. I don't know. Just a thought. Anyway,
It's not a bad idea, but the distraction would then be given away as we are with him. Very interesting to
Fine.
travel with a elephant, is it not?
I mean, for a while we're in the city here. I know not what we're doing.
Yes.
Later, that is for Ramus to tell.
like looks at Ramus pointedly, like, we're gonna have to figure out what you're doing here, bud. Like,
Yeah. What's the agenda?
Yes, I was not
All
told.
in good time.
I was not
all
told
in
how
good
far we
time.
would travel, so I'm assuming that will come too. But let us make it to your abode.
Okay. Yeah. So Berg brings you to one of these buildings that looks like it's been built up in layers over time. It was probably like a wood building at first, and then they started reinforcing it from the ground up. So it's like wood from the 4th or 5th floor up. 3 or 4 floors. And the bottom is like reinforced stone. They've kind of rebuilt it. And you're in this, like I said before, it's an interstitial neighborhood between the neighborhood you're leaving, which isn't even really part of the city proper. It's still people who think that they're going to leave and head north, and moving into this kind of uncomfortable like area where people have kind of started to give up. And they've started to consider themselves citizens instead of temporarily embarrassed travelers. Now they're like, okay, I guess we just live in Vaknya, and this is one of these buildings. It's the only place we can afford. They live in this sort of liminal state between what they want and where they actually are. And you approach one of these buildings. It's scrapped together, cramped and like small, and there are people all over the place outside. There's food carts that are being wheeled out for the evening meal. There are like beggars, both secular and religious, sitting outside the building that as you approach hold up their bowls. And this building itself is like, just like a medieval like slum apartment building, basically.
Okay.
And this Ramus is where Berg has secured your your stay.
This is expensive, Berg.
Well, it is owned by a dwarf, and I don't know if you remember.
I told you not to deal with dwarves.
There wasn't much available. Look around. You do not see refugees everywhere.
Is there something wrong with dwarves, Master Krill?
They are the most conniving, greedy creatures you could possibly imagine. And smart enough to get away with it.
If you were not paying me, we would have a different discussion.
You like dwarves?
I believe people are representations of themselves, not their race. So whoever this person that was all the things you just said is indeed all the things you just said.
Well, this one the opportunity would likely kill me, stomp on my corpse, and piss all over me before leaving me in the street. Simply because I am what I am. And in my experience, it is typically that way with dwarves. It is hard to see the good in them when so many display the bad.
It is easy to try, though. That's all that matters. This is much too philosophical to have a discussion in the middle of the street, though. Perhaps over some drinks. Inside.
Now you've said something worth saying. My experience, dwarves are fine. They have a very, very odd and specific smell. Earth and metal. All right. First round is on me.
We still need to secure a place for the ox, so I will meet up with the three of you soon.
How long have you had this ox?
5 days.
Okay.
You have not introduced Berg to Good New, a faithful steed, traveling companion.
Berg, this is Nunu. Nunu, Berg.
Berg, Nunu tries to headbutt you. You take 7 damage.
Can I get a chance to stop this?
No, he just headbutts you as hard as he can.
No.
What do you mean, no?
We don't get to play by the rules here.
If you want to like,
Let me roll for something. I want to stop this
no,
motherfucker.
you can retaliate. He made an attack roll. I guess you have danger sense. So if you want, yeah. You're not wearing your armor, which is why that hits. But
I am. Damn you!
You said
I am wearing my armor. I fully
you said you
kitted
got
myself.
it.
Yep, I got it. I'm all in it.
You said I got my stuff. You didn't say I put my armor on.
Really?
But it doesn't matter.
Really?
Yes, really. Yes, really. Welcome back, asshole.
So,
I
heard you say.
just saying. But you do have danger sense. So you sense a future in which this ox is about to headbutt you. What are you going to do?
I'm going to stop it. I'm going to attempt to use my giant hand and stop its head before it fucking hits me.
Okay. Sure. Yeah. Go ahead and I don't think you just put your hand out and you put your hand on his forehead, and there's a moment where he looks up at you and he blinks, And then we see the ox, and this is the weirdest thing, Maharib. You see him like kneel, essentially. His back legs are still up, but he like kneels down and like puts his forehead on the ground at Berg's feet after you touch him.
That's a good boy.
Berg like pets it.
Yeah. And he gets up and just kind of like looks up at you, like in awe, as
Then
much as like
Berg,
an
like,
ox can.
Like,
Guess he's not so bad.
He's very strong. I wish to keep him around. Thus, I will meet with the three of you soon. I like grab the whatever rope I have tied around the ox's neck and kind of lead him down the road.
Okay. All right, where are you headed? Where are you gonna take him?
I am going to use rustic hospitality to find lodging for this thing.
Nice. Okay, yeah. So you want to find someone to just like keep an eye on your ox friend for you?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, sure. No problem. I think we can apply this to Nunu. I like it. So what does that look like? Do you just find some peasants and you're like, this cow is very important to me. Keep an eye on it.
Who would respect? I would look for a farmer of some type, or like go into a market and see if there's a farmer there, and ask him to look over the ox while we're in town, and I'll pay him. I don't know. However much he would make on a normal day selling vegetables or selling whatever his crop is. For watching.
Yeah, I mean for like a single gold, he'll watch over your ox as long as you want,
yeah,
because that's a ton of money.
And the
for something
caveat
like
will
that.
be if I don't come to collect it within 2 weeks' time, then he can have it because that'll pay for the
It's a
ox.
fucking awesome deal for him. So
Yeah.
yes, you pass him over, and before you even like have a chance to like, you barely walked away. The farmer's kids are like climbing on Nunu and like riding it around, and Nunu just gives you a look like, it's fine, this is cool, I can hang, and and doesn't seem bothered by the fact that you've just like left her with these peasants.
Great.
So while Maharib is finding a garage for the cow, Yazzie.
Quick question. I see that Maharib's background is folk hero. Is that right? Like, is there any way that I would have heard tale of him, or?
I don't know, Maharib.
Make a roll. I'd rather leave it up to dice to see if you would be. I don't know what that would be.
Sure.
History, I guess.
A history check. I mean, you're a folk hero among people that Yota has never met before,
Right.
so it's probably a pretty high difficulty. But
Yeah.
let's see. Yeah.
What I'd say like an 18 plus.
Okay.
Okay, sure.
Oh shit!
So I'm actually gonna whisper this to you because I don't want
Yeah,
this
that's
revealed
cool.
fully yet.
Okay, you bet.
Of course, of course.
Yeah.
All right. So Berg and Ramus, what are you doing while this is going on? Do you want to go have a talk with your landlord? He doesn't live here, but you know where his house
Yeah,
is.
maybe we're off to this side, and Ramus is like asking me about following up on the whole rent thing.
Yeah, makes sense.
Yeah, or we're like inside. You're showing me what you rented. You're showing me the inside of the place.
Yeah.
And here's
Really?
the sitting. That is pretty comfy.
Yes, that looks very comfy.
Over here, I have a cupboard. I have some bread. Pretty good bread.
Where'd you get the bread?
And over, there's a child that sells it 2 streets down.
So
Cool.
this place, this tenement or whatever, it has a single window, opposite the door. The window opens out into like the alley behind. There's another building like kind of nearby, so like leaned nearby it, with all its own things. There's a bunch of lines strung between the buildings where clothes are hanging out to dry. There's probably only like the one room in here, and yeah, and it's pretty sparse. It's not a luxurious domain. So yeah, you can live here. It's got a door and a window and like walls, so it's a domicile, but yeah, it's not very nice and certainly not worth as much money as the market dictates how much something is worth, but you don't think, Ramus, it's worth 700 gold.
So we get like 7 of these rooms, right? Or is this the only room?
Or like kind of like looks away for a second. Like,
No. This is the only one.
So 700 gold for this room by itself, which has some lovely bread in the cabinet.
But I thought you'd be hungry. Anyways,
It's good bread. It is.
I
It is good
know.
bread.
I know it's shit compared to what you'd like. And it's way
Yep.
too much money. But he's a dwarf. There are refugees everywhere. The city is busting under the weight of the people already here. There wasn't much else.
I
You don't
know.
want to pay. We don't
You-
have to.
You did what you needed to do. We don't need to be here long. Just here to get some information, some supplies, and then we're leaving.
Berg. First of all, let me say, compared to what I was used to in the monastery, this is a palace. Second, I do believe that you were being taken advantage of, and you saw how the folk treated me on my way in. Maybe I can talk to this dwarf for you, seeing as how I have no problem with their people, and it might do something for the value of the place to have someone such as me staying here. What do you say to that?
You won't like talking to me, of course. Worth a try. I don't know why everyone likes elephants so much. Fine enough. But I won't complain. Sure.
Very well, then. I will sleep probably right here on the floor, and then in the morning... Is it nighttime?
It's like probably starting to get dark, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's not like you don't have to go to bed now, but
Okay. Well, so I could feasibly go over there and talk to the guy now.
yeah, theoretically. Sure.
All right. Well, I'll leave it up to you. We can sleep here tonight and I'll talk about the fee in the morning, or I could go over there right now and convince him now.
It matters not to me. Ramus.
We have like
It's
a
up to
week
you.
until we have to pay, so doesn't matter
Mhm.
when.
Very well. Then I will retire. And he just kind of like falls a little bit, hand out a little bit, and just curls up on the floor.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But
Okay.
you're gonna miss the bread.
Mm,
Well, truth
I
be
do have
told, I didn't want to
bread.
say this, but the folks outside were giving me things, so I've had my fill for the night. So I didn't bring any back for you, and that is apologies for that.
Mm, I see. It is good bread, though. Perhaps tomorrow.
It's just out already. Cool. Perfect.
Alcohol, man.
All right, great. Yeah. So you just pass out and have a nice little lie down. So yeah, meanwhile, Maharib and so what's everybody else gonna do while Yota takes his nap? Or are we done with the day?
After Yota passes out, Berg is like, looks at Ramus and is just,
Good to see you.
It's gotten worse.
Mm. I figured as much. We have to find something for you, Remus, or you will not last long.
What's wrong with me is beyond medicine. We need help of someone powerful. I don't think heaven will let heaven's little game did this to me. So we need to go beyond heaven.
I feel guilty in a way. You are
You'll-
the way you are now, and me the way I am now, because of heaven.
It is
Well.
funny. It's funny how heaven's supposed to be there to serve us. It just plays games with us. What it did to me, what it did to you. Seems heaven's lost its purpose, what it's supposed to do. And I now know the tower's mission for me. It all needs to burn.
Well, I'm sure there's plenty of that ahead. For now, I'm going to sleep.
You go ahead and get yourself some rest. You did good, Berg. You got us a place. You got information. Go ahead and go to sleep. I'll wait for our friend.
Just so you know, Remus, I like you too.
I know, friend. I know.
and Berg just walks over to the corner and just kind of slumps down and takes off stuff and then just sits there and leans his head back.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. So Maharib, you've dropped off your ox. It's now safe in the ox garage. Did you want to go right back to the house, or do you have something you want to do in the city?
Before that, I'll read what I sent Zeke in an effort to not play the same character all over again.
Can we actually RP this out a little bit before you read it?
Yeah. We can flash back to it. That's fine.
I'm because you're gone. I was going to type this to Adam that when I laid down on the floor, I wasn't actually going to sleep. I was pretending to sleep because I was going to wait up for you to come back.
Sure, yeah, we can do it that way. That sounds great.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, that's much cooler than me just reading it.
So you heard everything?
So
Yeah, I did. I heard that whole thing, buddy.
So Ramus, do you also sleep, or do you leave the apartment before Maharib gets back?
I think I'm just staring into the fire.
Awesome.
Lost it.
So when you get back, you just see Ramus just like sitting, staring into the embers of like a dying fire. Yeah.
Okay.
And then Yota and Berg are both asleep.
Yeah, I walk in, look at Ramus for a couple seconds, and notice the other two are asleep, and look back at Ramus. And do you find peace in that fire, Ramus?
I find truth. Fire is pure. It has no goal other than to burn and to clean away that which needs to burn. It's comforting.
You know, there are rumors that Imix's followers are in the Court of Swords.
Interesting. Where did you hear that?
You hear things, being a mercenary, wandering the streets.
What do you think about these people that worship the fire?
There are worse things that they could worship.
That is true. Where are you from originally? Are you from around here?
No, Master Krill, I'm from the mountains. Not any particular court, but just the mountains.
Right, like your people don't recognize the difference between like they operate out of biomes, right? Where you're like,
Yeah.
this is the mountains. You can tell because we're in the mountains. That's the jungle. There's the river. Like the artificial drawing of the lines of the courts, like doesn't really make sense to you. Like why would you say, like I'm in a jungle here, and if I walk 10 feet over there, I'm in like a different kingdom, but I'm still in the jungle. Like the earth is the same, the sky is the same. Like why is it different?
Yeah.
Good answer. So much of the courts and land and divisions of power, it's all nonsense we've made up or been given from somewhere else. Must be nice to be free of all that.
We are indeed free, but that does not mean that our blood has not been spilled in those wars. I'm not a unique individual where I come from, so you can imagine that we've been involved before.
Wars drag everyone into them.
Yes, they do.
Judging by the border when we crossed, feels like another one's brewing. We're on the verge of sparking. The court of coins just stood there.
Yes. I believe so. I hope we are not caught up in this war. I have seen too many. Where did you
You
and
mentioned
I will go first, if you do not mind. I have many questions
That's fine.
that you have not answered. This
that's
Berg,
fine.
where did you find him?
We found each other here in the Court of Swords many years ago. We were sent on a mission together to recover something. Things went bad, but we've been together ever since.
And that was the first, Ramus, that was the first time that you had met Berg, because you were in prison with Shanus and Wester, right? They brought the three of you up from the same prison. And Berg was kept somewhere else. Yeah, you had never met Berg before that, but you were all part of the same kind of operation that Kukrit was like running. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
He is a trusted warrior.
Yes. He's very efficient at destroying, killing, but only those that deserve it.
That is good to hear. You were asking me something.
Yeah. You mentioned Emix. It's funny since name's not brought up very often. What brought that to your mind?
My people are more prone to believe in the old gods rather than the new.
So, our human traditions here with the Arcana are foreign or silly to you, then?
Not silly, just different.
Well, it's good to know that you appreciate the old gods.
Everyone must believe in something, Master Krill.
How how would you feel if our destination was related to the old gods?
If that is what you are paying me for, then I will see fit to finish my duty.
And I can trust that whatever happens on our mission, you will keep what happens here to yourself.
If that is what you are paying me for.
Pointed, lingering shot of Yota asleep.
Yeah. Yeah, I just say if that's what you're paying me for.
Good. Because not everyone would agree with consorting with the folks we're looking for.
Understood. If it's all right with you, I will try and find some sleep.
Yes. Go ahead and rest. I will stay with the fire a while longer.
Fair enough. Be careful not to get lost in it.
I try not to. Just the only time I feel anything anymore is when I stare into the flame.
That is quite dangerous.
And Ramus, do you have your mask off when you're just like hanging out in the house, right?
Yeah, but it's dark and the hood is still up. I'm like, you just see like flashes and the flicker lights.
Yeah. And the
face.
like the faintly like Mahari, you know full well what burnt skin like scar tissue looks like. And yeah, you see just the faintest that sort of shine of some of Ramus's face like marked by like a burn scar.
Right. I don't comment on it. I take note of it, but I don't comment on it.
You don't
yeah.
go gross. Ew, gross.
Yeah.
Hey, cool, your face is all
man, your face
roasted.
is scaling.
Yeah,
got a scab
grody.
right
How
here,
did that
man.
happen?
So I go and find. I assume there's nothing in this room. It's just a room with nothing in it, right?
Yes, yeah, it's just a plain ass room.
Okay. I will. And it has like wooden floors. It's not like topsoil or anything like that. Like
You're you're on the like 4th or 5th floor. Yeah, it's like a wooden floor, stone and wooden walls.
okay. I'll go and like take off my armor and take off all the weapons and whatnot. And
Yeah.
I keep Bahath the sword leaned up against the wall, and I lean back on that
Yeah.
to fall asleep. And everything's very orderly, very military warrior like in fashion in terms of how it's laid out. And then I'll start to fall asleep.
Okay. Cool. All right.
And as soon as
yeah.
everybody's quiet and Does Ramus, like, if I wait like a handful of hours or whatever, or like 2 or 3 hours, does he like stay by the fire, or does he go to sleep, or does he lay down, or anything like that?
He lays down to try to rest, but it's hard for him.
Okay. Once I kind of get the idea that everyone's in the house is kind of asleep, then I will kind of tiptoe over to Maharib.
I mean, you're stealthy.
And
it's cool.
I'm dexterous. I'll
You're
tiptoe over
incredibly
to
dexterous.
Just imagine an elephant tiptoeing. It's just great.
Bum, bum,
Yep.
bum, 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 bum.
Yeah.
Yep.
And I'll crouch by him, looking at his like right. If you open his eyes, he would see me like crouching, like in front of him.
Mm-hmm.
And I kind of like nudge his shoulder with my trunk,
Okay.
trying to wake him up.
I don't shriek or anything. My eyes just like very calmly and simply just open. I go, may I help you, Zoe?
God, that's so fucking unnerving. Like, you gotta wake him up, and it's not like he's like, what's up? He's just like,
Oink.
his eyes just open, like, oh, fuck, never mind.
I know who you are. I've heard of you. Maybe not you specifically, but and I look over to the sword on the wall, like it's leaned up.
It's behind me. I'm leaning up against it.
Yeah.
Okay. Then I look behind you. I might not know who you are, but I know what that is.
Understood. Are you going to use this against me in some way?
No. I just want you to know that I know. I'm wondering why you're a sellsword for this person.
It's easy to move around in this world when someone else is paying for you to do so.
I see that. Do you have an end goal that you're working towards?
If Emix wishes to resurrect the red dragons, I will see that they are slain.
So you see yourself as a dragon slayer then?
I do not see myself, but my clan has entrusted me to do so.
Ah. Well, there is an opening for the Knight of Swords. Maybe you fit the bill.
I do not wish to involve myself in those political games, Zoe.
And that shows maybe, and I mean, you can kind of decide how you respond to this, Zeke, but that shows like a very distinct understanding of a system that Maharib is not a part of, right? The idea that you're like, yeah, you could be the knight, and he's like, oh, I know how that job really is. It's bullshit. It's political bullshit, and I'm not about that. So that's interesting. Like, his response is significant.
Now, would I know, like, the dragons and the ancients, like Imix and that kind of stuff, would they be in, like, for lack of a better word, cahoots, or would they be opposing forces?
Ah, yes, the ancient art of Kahoot.
Right,
yeah, make
but
a,
yeah, that's what I'm
no, I mean, I understand what you're saying. Make a
Yeah.
history check. Make a history check.
Okay. 14.
Yeah, so the primordials, they created what we consider the primordials, because some of them elevated and became celestial gods of heaven, right? There are gods in heaven who are the same as like the Night Serpent and Imix and shit. They just decided to pick the heaven team, and they were given jobs. They tend to be the gods of like big important shit. But back when they were all one thing, the greatest of all the gods created all of the stuff that makes up the universe, right? All life. They created the wood, the forest, and the jungles, and the rivers, and the mountains, and stuff. And then when they began populating the world, the first thing they made were the dragons. Imix made the dragons of flame. The primordial of the sky made the dragons of the air, and then they started creating. The dragons would like breed with each other to create, like the dragons of lightning are the children of the dragons of fire and the dragons of the sky. So this was their first attempt, and depending on the god, depending on the dragons, because all the dragons were supposedly like quite different. Their relationship, some of them were the treasured first children, some of them were the failed experiments, but they were all very close to these elder gods. Yeah. In the stories, right? Like this is all 10,000-year-old like creation myth stuff, and it was old,
sure,
10,000 years ago. So,
okay, and but like, did their creations turn on the creator? Is kind of like it's a trope that happened.
No, not really. I mean, maybe, but you don't know any particular stories of that. But the idea was that like they made them in their first and most direct attempt to make life. And that was the dragons.
So would I surmise that killing or slaying the dragons of fire would be diametrically opposed to what Ramus is kind of involved with?
I don't think you know enough about either of their motivations to know that. No. The thing about the gods is even the most human-like gods are to a degree inscrutable, right? They do things according to their own plans, and mortals are like ants to humans, right? Like you're aware that they're there and they're huge and important, but like, yeah, you don't know.
Okay.
You might, if you were to make a leap of logic, you might guess that Maharib, depending on if you're a suspicious elephant man or not, that Maharib might be playing Ramus to lead him to Imix, right? Like, if Ramus knows where Imix is, and Maharib might just be along for the ride, or like maybe they both already know that this is the deal. Like, you don't know enough about what they know about each other and all that yet. So
right, but I mean, while I was pretending to sleep, I heard them mention Imix, and that was a definite topic of conversation. So this is what I'll say to Maharib. Well, it can't be that much of a coincidence that you're here with this particular human, as opposed to some other. There's a connection there. Or I could just be drunk.
It was not knowledge to me that Ramus was looking for Imix. And even if he is...
I didn't mention that. I don't think.
I mean, he mentioned... okay, no, let's strike that line, because I guess Ramus hadn't said that at all. Yeah,
Sure.
That's information that I know as a person, but not as a player.
Yeah.
He was talking about that with Berg, right?
Yeah.
Before Maharib returned.
Okay, cool.
I'll say Ramus was looking into the fire, so I mentioned Imix as perhaps just reading the room to see if he was interested in it. I do not know his goals, but I do know that the cult of Imix resides here in the Court of Swords, so here I am. If he is going other ways, then we will part ways at that point in time.
And then I sort of like play up my drunkenness again. And I thank you. We all have to have secrets. And then off to bed.
I just like close my eyes and lean my head back, fall asleep.
Cool. All right. So you
And then I go
you
over to
all
Ramus's as he's sleeping, and I stomp on him with my feet.
throw him in the fire.
Just throw him in the fire.
Awesome. Okay. So we it like everything kind of like gets quiet, and we see the group of you kind of like down, and then Ramus is still kind of like tossing a bit in his sleep, and the fire is like burned down to almost nothing. And we fade to the front of the building. And outside, the sort of group, all the people standing around outside, and like the beggars and stuff, it's shifted. It's shifted to like there's a darker business, right? We see we see people moving in the alley, people hooded and cloaked coming and going, sort of shady deals being made. And outside, one of the beggars is just like huddled up against the side of the building, and we see a man approach. He's dressed like indeterminately, like he's not wearing anything like fancy. He's just got like a regular outfit you might see on anybody of the sort of middle class of the Court of Swords, kind of like a long like tunic jacket pinned to the shoulder. It's hot, so he's not wearing like a cloak or anything. He's got short hair, the dark skin of the people sort of native to this region. And he comes up, and he looks down at the beggar, and he says, "Have they arrived?" And the beggar nods and says, "I saw them just this afternoon. 4 there were. Gaja, the orc, creature I have never seen before, and with them the soulless man, just as our Lord promised." And the man nods, and he says, "Good. Keep an eye on their coming and going." And he throws a purse to the beggar, and the beggar greedily opens the purse and looks inside and grins. He's got like 2 teeth. He grins, and he says, "Yes, as you say, sir. I'll watch them." And he nods, and he looks up, and he just kind of like looks up at the building, and he turns and walks away. So night falls. You all sleep. You rest through the night, and wake up with the rising of the sun in the heat of this building. You can hear noise, people coming and going. Everybody kind of wakes at once because it gets too hot to sleep. And you can hear like next to you people like shouting. Someone's shouting at their kids. It's like a cramped apartment building full of people who are too poor to do better, with thin walls. And the more they can jam in here, the more money the landlord can make. And so it's not a particularly like comfortable waking up. So what do you all do?
I eat bread.
Yeah, sitting there eating a loaf of bread. Cool, good. Yeah.
Well, I get up and I walk out, and I honestly try and follow my nose to someone who's making food and something I could purchase.
Mm-hmm. Okay. All right.
Yep.
Ramus, Maharib, what's the plan here? Because Ramus, you've arrived, and now it's like you got to put the feelers out, right?
Yeah, I think that's upon waking up. I just go up to Ramus and Master Krill. We are in this city. Where are we going from here? What is the goal?
We're looking for people. What's the best way to put it? People who are religious but not to the arcana. We want like druids and people that know of the old ways. Usually, you look at their shops and think they're silly.
Ramus is basically saying like, I need a religious person, and you're like, okay, there's a church over there, there's a synagogue over there, there's a mosque down the street, and he's like, no, weird religious people.
Yeah.
If you are searching for a druid, an alchemy shop might perhaps be a good place to visit. They might know the type.
It's a good suggestion. We definitely want people that are more of the land than of heaven.
Perhaps a city is not the best place to look for such.
Yes, but it's the only place to start for now, and we need supplies too for the trip.
Is there any specific reason why we're looking for a druid of sorts?
We're looking for what we talked about last night.
I see.
So we need to talk to people that. It's hard to get that kind of information out of people.
Yes. It might be better if Master Zoe was the one doing it. The three of us are not easy on the eyes, regardless of who they worship.
Yes, we should definitely send out feelers to different parts of the city. We don't have a lot of time. We only have a week until this landlord comes back for payment.
Yeah.
Well,
Less than that now.
if you are looking to spend more money, that will get people talking.
Mm-hmm. Let's follow your first suggestion. Let's try an alchemist.
Very well. I will go ask a guard for the location and come back. And then I start getting on all my armor and put the sword on my back and put the shield on my back and walk out and go look for a guard.
Okay. All right. So yeah, Maharib, you head outside. And you see outside a young man dressed in like light blue monk's robes. They are like loose robes, except they are drawn tight around the wrists and ankles. And he's got wooden sandals on. He's got a shaved head. And he is talking to somebody standing outside the building. And so you come out the front door, and he stops his conversation when he sees you, and he looks up, and he kind of goes like a little bit wide-eyed, and you can see him like thinking as you walk by. And then you hear the sound of his sandals on the ground, on the dirt, and you can hear him. He's behind you. He's like walking towards you.
I think I just turn around and go, "Do you have something that requires me?"
And he stops. He stops suddenly because you've stopped, and he nods and he says, "Honored master, I do not know your name. I am Sang, servant of the moon." And he like bows. He gives you the kind of like prayer hands.
Master Sang, servant of the moon, do you require anything from me? You will not get my name.
He says, in all honesty, and he looks up at the building. I'm looking for one of your companions. You travel with the holy Gaja. I heard stories that there was one in the slums. Is this true?
May I ask why you wish to see him? If he does exist?
The Gaja are a miracle given to us by heaven. When I heard the story, I thought it best to investigate for myself.
And what will you do once you find this creature?
Seek audience, of course. Consult his divine wisdom. Invite him to the temple. And he gestures up at the mountains. We have not been blessed by the presence of a Gaja in some time. The Temple of the Holy Moon would be most appreciative of his attentions.
I see. You wish to use his presence to broaden the horizons of your temple.
The Gaja contain wisdom. We seek wisdom. It would be beneficial to the temple if we were able to speak to him. If, in fact, he does exist.
I do not know where this Gaja, as you call it, is at the moment, but I will say this. He is a drunk, he is not wise, and he is not worth your time.
And he raises an eyebrow and he says, "Are you certain you know this word, Gaja? They are tall, like you, broad, gray skin, great ears, a nose that hangs from... Have you seen this sort of creature before? I want to ensure we are speaking of the same man."
Yes, I do believe I have, and I have described him aptly.
How interesting. But he does dwell within this building, yes?
Yes.
I would, and you see him, he's like patting himself down, and he reaches into his robes, and he takes out a coin purse, and he says, I would appreciate if you would let me know where I could find this Gaja, so that I might judge him for myself. The temple would appreciate it. And he kind of like holds the bag like, I'm going to give you these coins if you do what I ask.
Can I judge how much coin it is?
Not without seeing what sort of coins. Like, there's an okay amount of coins in the bag, but they might be copper, so.
Okay. Yeah, I'd take the bag. He should return.
Okay, yeah. So he's holding it, and so he'll give it to you when you tell him what he wants.
Oh, okay. I like put my hand on the bag and notice that he doesn't let go, and
Yeah.
he should return shortly, perhaps sometime today. He left, not knowing where, but yes, I am traveling with him.
Oh, very good. And he lets go of the purse, and he says, "Then I will wait here."
Tell me it's 30 fucking pieces of silver, you Judas.
Before I open it, I like turn around and start to walk away, then turn back and when he's still in earshot, kind of exclaim, "If you impede my party's movement at all, including the Gaja, I will remember this."
And he shakes his head and he says, "I am not here to offer impediment, only opportunity."
Understood. Good luck.
Yeah, and he bows deeply to you.
Okay. I turn, and as I turn, I like uncinch the coin purse. How
Yeah,
much?
Take a look. Figure there's probably 20 gold in there.
Okay. Are any of those kids running around? That we saw on the
Yeah, there's
outskirts?
always there everywhere you look there are beleaguered poor people.
I'm trying to think who would get the gold, or how he would divvy it up.
Scatter it to the wind. Give it to your buddy Ramus, your old buddy Ramus.
Got a hole inside it that never will be
Money
filled.
makes it better.
I think I just pick a child at random.
Jesus. Uh-huh.
And just like either put my body in his path, or I don't like I don't poke him. I don't.
Yeah,
him
I mean
or
it's easy
anything.
for you to get in the way, and you're a
Yeah.
walking mountain. So
Yeah, so I just get in the way, and like get down on his level and say, like what is the boy? Is it a boy? Is it a girl? Like who do I stop?
I don't know. They're too filthy for you to be able to tell.
Okay. Then I'll just say boy and say, make something of yourself, young man. Here's 20 gold.
you just give him the gold. Okay.
Yeah. And then continue to ignore
Yeah.
it.
The kid takes the bag of gold and looks at it, and then like looks at you and like watches you walk away, and then like tucks the bag away and like runs before somebody finds out he's got 20 gold. And and this person's life just became very interesting.
Yeah.
How much is 20 gold in, like, we'll say dollars to us? Roughly.
I don't know how I would make like a dollars like conversion to that, but
Okay,
it's like,
Canadian dollars.
I think it's enough to
Which is how much
say.
ours except
I think it's enough to say that it would be life changing for that person. Correct?
yes,
Yeah.
absolutely. So if this kid doesn't get like jumped and murdered by
Yeah.
like an adult, their life is completely changed. Yeah.
I think
They-
like
they
the
just got a
psyche
shit ton of
behind
money.
that is Mahri knows that puts a like target on that kid's back, but if he makes it out of it, he'll be stronger for it. So he's totally okay with it.
Totally. Right. Yeah. I like it. Cool. Okay. All right. So yeah, that kid runs off.
Here's 20 gold. If you're not strong enough for it, then you deserve to die.
That's right. Yeah, you'll either die or you'll become worthy of this gold I just gave you.
Pretty much.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I like it.
I go look for a guard, I guess. It's the old trope.
I was
Let me
gonna
find a guard.
Yeah, I was gonna say, yeah. Let me find a random police officer and be like, "Yo, where's the Walmart, dude?"
Yeah.
So
Or I'll go
yeah,
into a random store or shop and just ask if there is an alchemy shop here in town.
yeah, totally. I think it's easy enough to figure out. Yeah, there would be. It wouldn't be out in the outskirts. They've got like an herbalist or something that wanders around the area, but like no, you wouldn't. There wouldn't be an alchemist there. But in the city in Bucknam proper, totally, yeah, there would be. So you want to head into town?
Yeah.
Okay. So while you're off doing that, Berg, Ramus, Yota, what are you doing?
Well, I know I'm getting breakfast. So that's all I'm
Every
doing.
time
I'm
I hear-
going to any gathering of like stands or shops or whatever. Like I'm smelling like see if there's bread or meat cooking or whatever. I'm gonna get some breakfast.
Okay. So you leave. You're gonna go downstairs and like maybe go check out, see if Doug's around, get some breakfast noodles.
Dude, I get some breakfast noodles from Doug. I'll be happy.
Okay. All right. Well, before we follow that, so you can see Yoda, like you live in one room. So Yoda's getting up and like grabbing his stuff. Berg and Remus, what are you going to do?
Every time I hear the word Yota, it just makes me think of fucking Star Wars.
Yeah. It's either Yatta or Yoda. So like you'll get used to it. They'll even out.
Yota.
Yeah.
Berg finishing his bread and seeing what Ramus is doing. Since he hasn't been around Ramus in a while, he's just kind of hanging out, seeing what Ramus's plans are.
Hmm. Have you seen a library around here, Berg?
Yes, I believe there is one.
Would be nice to do a little research. While we're waiting on Mahareb to come back.
What sort of research? I ask, 'cause I don't know how good of a library it is.
Well, peasant tales. Sometimes there's truth in them. Things that we pass off as fairy tales may not be so fictional anymore. There's some truth there about where to find who we're looking for. The only thing I can think of right now. It's so hard to concentrate sometimes.
I can imagine this must be very frustrating for you.
looking for the boogeyman. How do you go searching for something like that?
Imix is Agni's father, right?
Yep.
I think he says that. Is the fire still going from last night or no?
No, it's pretty much
Probably
burned
just
out now.
smoldering, yeah.
Yeah.
I think just for the hell of it, because he sees how frustrated Ramus is, he just tries to talk to Agni real quick. He just thinks to himself,
You're Agni. Are you out there?
Agni,
It's me, Berg.
are you there?
he's just like concentrating really hard. He knows it's probably not going to work, but he's trying.
Yeah, I don't think there's no. So you, Ramus, you just see Berg thinking real hard about something.
Well, because it was never implied. Yeah, she never said how to contact her. He always
think
tries
she-
every now and then.
Yeah, she didn't really know either. So
Berg, are you okay? You, Berg? Berg?
Agni, what?
What you doing there?
No,
I lost you for like a minute. What's going on?
I was. Never mind.
No. Tell me. What were you doing?
You remember Agni, right?
Mm-hmm.
Trying to talk to her. She never told me how to get back in touch. I thought maybe
Wait.
she would be able to help. Right?
You're a genius,
Frustrating.
Berg. I didn't even think of it. I know how to contact the gods. But I've never thought to try it to the old gods. I can access the fountain's power, but I don't know if I can use it to... I mean, we could try.
I don't know. Couldn't
Ah.
hurt.
Get a fire going, Berg. I have an
Okay.
idea.
I'll be right back.
Or like, yeah, unless do we have any wood inside? We probably would have wood inside.
I mean, you don't even have like a fireplace, really. Like the fire that you lit, you would have burned it on something by the window, so the smoke would go out the window.
So it was it's just like a little makeshift fire pit kind of thing, like raised sort of
Yeah,
thing or whatever.
like in a bowl or something. Yeah.
All right, then Berg like walks out to go get some wood. Probably
Okay.
just go grab some wood from some child that's selling
Okay.
whatever.
Yeah. So you step outside, you walk a little ways out to take a look around, and you hear a voice. You hear someone say, "Excuse me. Excuse me."
Berg looks at them.
You turn to look, yeah. You see a bald man in light blue robes. And he when you turn to look at him, he bows to you. And he says, "I am so sorry to bother you. I'm looking for someone, and I think perhaps you know them."
Okay.
"My name is Sang. I am a servant of the Temple of the Moon. My temple has sent me here on an investigative mission. I'm looking for a Gaja. Do you know what they are?" You just stare at him. He says, like an elephant, but it walks as a man, has 2 arms and 2 legs, like a man. Have you seen such a creature?"
Why?
Why, they're sacred. The presence of one is a sign from heaven. I wish to speak with this creature. Understand its purpose here.
Berg smiles when he says, "It's a sign from heaven."
Yeah.
Is it now? I didn't know
Yeah.
that.
He nods and he says, yes, of course. The Gaja are sacred, as are their animal kin here in the Court of Swords. Their presence a divine omen. I simply thought to speak to him.
I'm afraid I cannot help you.
Of course, I understand.
Do you sell wood?
I'm sorry?
Do you sell wood?
No, I'm a monk. I don't sell anything.
Very well.
Berg walks away.
Just walk off. Nice. So he's probably like, was that a riddle or how?
That's a
Do you
puzzler.
sell- Mhm.
You sell wood.
What do we call a man who sells? Yeah, and so he's just like, you can see him rolling over in his head like, fascinating. Yeah, so you wander off to get some wood. Okay, sure. Yota, what are you up to? What's your deal here?
I'm kind of just walking around to get the lay of the land, but also like I am hungry. I would like some food.
Okay, so you're gonna leave the apartment?
Yes, I figured I was since I was the first to speak up, like I was the first to go.
Yeah, I've been waiting because this monk outside is waiting for you, and I just wanted to see if your friends would like.
Oh,
aim
I
him
see.
at
Okay,
you.
so he'd be waiting for us no matter what.
Yeah, he's just hanging out, and
Okay.
I'm waiting for you. So when you leave, then he'll
Perfect.
like with the others, he'll approach you. So maybe that
Absolutely
happens now. So you go outside, and
Yep.
you see a monk standing out in the little dirt road outside your shitty tenement apartment, and you can see him. He looks like he's very puzzled. He's like puzzling over something.
I'm going to send you something just as far
Okay.
as like backstory goes. I don't know if this is going to make any difference, but I'm just
Sure.
going to like, it's
Okay.
just a little blurb. I don't know if he's from where I came from.
Okay,
or-
yeah. If you want to, I mean, if you want to like wait and set an ambush for JP when he comes back, you can, but you'll have to make a stealth roll. So
Don't say it out loud. I mean, Jesus Christ, man. That's the whole That's why I whispered it.
No, I don't think so. To answer your question, I don't think so.
Okay, cool.
You recognize the robes as being it's a different temple than the one that you are familiar with. He's a monk of the moon.
Okay.
But what's funny is that he's so turned around about what Berg said, he doesn't notice you when you come out. So if you'd like to just sneak past or whatever, you can. But he's just like thinking about wood and is very distracted.
So would I recognize his garb as something like a monk of the moon?
Yeah, I think it's common enough. Like you don't have to make a religion check. Like it's functionally the same as like seeing someone dressed as like a Catholic priest. You're like, that's a priest of some kind. He loves God.
Okay.
So this guy, you can tell, like, it's by the color, and like he's probably got some kind of like silver, like jewelry of some kind that you recognize.
Well, then I'll just walk up behind him and stand there and say, "It's a little bit bright out for your kind, wouldn't you say?"
So you're behind him, so he doesn't see you. So he starts saying, "Well, actually, the moon is almost always visible. It's just that the sun is so." Ah. And he just stares up at you like, now he doesn't know what to say.
I see that you are not gifted with speech or etiquette. I think you should start with good morning.
My apologies, Holiness. And he like gives you like a deep bow, gives you the full Y, and he says he doesn't look up. He's just looking at the floor with his head down and his eyes closed. He says, I have been waiting for you for some time. My name is Sang. I am a monk of the Temple of the Moon. The abbot has sent me to confirm your existence, which I believe I have, and ask you to join me at the temple.
It is rather early, and I have not eaten. What is the purpose of this visit?
I assure you that your needs will be met at the temple. We wish to welcome you to the city. And he looks up, like he's like, "Can I look at your face?" Like he kind of like looks up and he says, "Your arrival is something somewhat auspicious, and we had hoped that you would come and bless us with your presence."
All right, very well. Lead the way.
Yeah, yes, yes, of course. This way, Holiness. And he heads off towards the city. Yotazo in tow.
Sang, was
Cool.
it?
Yes, Holiness. Monk Sang.
Where's your monastery or your temple?
Not my monastery, Holiness. The monastery. And he gestures, and we get the pan out. And this is a really good shot to kind of close on. So you get the pan out, and we see the city, and yeah, like above the city, and it's sort of like most auspicious position is the great temple, the ancient temple to the moon, and it's carved partly, like it looks like it's something that has collided with the mountainside, like it's made of a different kind of stone, and they've like reformed it. And it's this enormous gray stone, like pagoda, basically. And the river, the water of the big river is like pouring down over the roof of it, creating this kind of like mist that flows all around it. And yeah, you and every other person in the Court of Swords knows it. It is it's like the Vatican of people who worship the moon. It's their holiest temple, ancient and holy. And he's leading you there.
Be with God.
Excellent.
Cool. Yeah,
Cool. That's where we'll end today then. That works out.
sounds good.
All right, let's do some shout outs. We'll get some goals, and then we'll call it a show. Max, why don't we start with you? We'll mix up the order today.
Hey,
Mixing it up with Max. I don't know why that's not a thing, but you should make it, Max. Go ahead.
that's my new show, Mixing It Up with Max.
Yep.
Welcome. I'm mixing things up. I got a little bit of flour, a little bit of. I'm GassyMexican. I do the streaming thing here on Twitch as well as some YouTube content, all that stuff. Variety broadcaster all around. And if you want to follow me on any of the things, do it. It's all GassyMexican, Twitter, YouTube, all that stuff. Good to be back on Court of Swords, and it's good to be playing Berg. I hope you guys enjoyed seeing him, hearing him. It's nice to be reunited as well with Ramus, and it's always really cool to have Berg interact with new characters and see how long they're going to be living around him, because he, of course, brings death. Just, we didn't get there yet today. Thanks as always for watching the show, and of course to Adam for doing his thing and allowing us to play around in his world, and of course to Dan, JP, and Zeke who are bringing their shit to the game too. No complaints today.
Good to hear.
No complaints. Awesome. Good to have you back. Mr. DansGaming, some shout outs, please, sir.
Thanks for having me on the show. Another fun episode. I'm DansGaming, variety streamer on Twitch. Currently playing through Fallout 76 and then Let's Go EV. Switching between the two. Had a lot of fun today, and I can't wait until next week.
Me either. Zeke, do some shout outs.
Thank you guys for showing up week in, week out. Thank you for showing up on a Monday when we usually do Tuesdays. But vacations, man, gotta have deference for those. I'm Ezekiel the Third. You can find me at or slash Ezekiel_III on Twitch, Twitter, and YouTube. Thank you to Dan, Max, JP, and Adam for making this continuing adventure still the highlight of my week. If you want to check me out tomorrow, be a good time for it because there's no drop frame. So I'm starting at noon Pacific. Red Dead Redemption, the very first time you're gonna see a first look. So I gave you all motherfuckers enough time to have it to play it yourselves. So now you can come out without spoilers and watch my dumbass do it wrong. So hopefully I'll see you tomorrow at noon.
Sounds good. Last but not least, Adam, some shout outs, please,
me.
sir.
Yeah. So I have created, as always, the Q&A for today's episode over at community.itmeJP.com. So you can go and ask questions about the episode there, including how to spell all of the proper nouns that I just threw at you this episode. And I hope you go check that out. I always love those threads. They're good stuff. Thanks everybody for playing the game today and coming in on a Monday. My internal clock is all screwed up now. So I think tomorrow, instead of Court of Swords, I think I'm going to start Spider-Man over on my channel because a lot of people were like, when are you going to play Spider-Man? And I'm like, I need to finish it in a week. I don't want to like break it up and play too much. So I'm going to play the Spider-Man, which means we're going to be flying around taking pictures of shit. So that's tomorrow afternoon. You can find that at twitch.tv/Adam Coble. And then all the time, always, you can find me on Twitter at skinnyghost. So that's me.
Cool. Let's do some goals, hand out some XP.
Let's do it. Okay, so Ramus, I don't know if you can trust your companions yet or not.
Mm-hmm.
But you definitely like started work. You kept working on it, so that's one work towards. Same with tracking down a clue that'll lead you to the Embers of Imix. That's another work towards. I don't think you did anything with the Violet yet, so two goals that you worked towards but did not resolve.
Okay.
So 50 times your level twice, and then Maharib. You didn't see Zota in a fight. Do you know the real reason you're in the Court of Swords yet? Like, I think the two of you kind of danced around. You flirted with that conversation, but didn't really like.
I think I worked towards it, but didn't finish it.
I definitely think you pursued it.
I would
but
also
it
argue
isn't finished yet.
Me and Zeke did have that conversation about how he's like studying to be a fighter and stuff like that. Or sorry, studying to create like a new fighting style with him being drunk before we went and investigated. So could I get?
Yeah,
XP
I think you actually. I think you actually have to like see it. Like if you had read the book or like pressed him on it a little bit. But yeah, I think right now it was just like he mentioned I am fight, and you're like, okay, well,
all right.
Well, yeah. But you did resolve.
I mentioned Twitch at lunch so I can write this off.
Exactly. Yeah. So you did resolve your goal to protect Nunu though. So you get 1,200 experience for that. Nunu is safe and sound.
Okay. And then
2 weeks at least.
I'm sorry, I misheard for the first one. Did I get partial or just none? Like, sorry,
none for the Zota one, none for that one. But then work towards learning the real reason that you're in the court. So 1,200 for the Ox goal, and then another 500 or 50 times your level, so 500.
Cool. Okay.
Okay. Yotazo. We talked a little bit in DMs about your first one, the mom and dad one. So you can like rewrite that one or whatever, because it might be a little while before you get to where they're at. But you definitely, I don't know. Do you feel like you learned the state of affairs in the Court of Swords, or have you like worked towards that?
No, I've worked towards it. I definitely have not.
Yeah, there's still lots more to learn. Well, you're going to a big deal temple, so yeah, I would definitely for next time like write a goal about the temple and like see how you can turn that situation to your advantage.
Yep, absolutely.
Dope. Okay, cool. So you work towards one of your goals today, and then Berg, you work towards dealing with the landlord situation, and you work towards learning what you're doing in the Court of Swords. But I don't think you have like a complete like Ramus didn't straight out say his because you know what, it didn't happen because I don't know what it is yet, so. Then I feel like you work towards two of them. So you get 500 each. So you get 1,000 XP for today. Cool. That'll do her.
All good. Sounds cool. All right.
Me.
That's it. I think we're all going to be here next Tuesday. So that's when the show will return. Hope to see you guys back at our normal time of Tuesdays at 6 o'clock Eastern for 4 hours. Hopefully every single Tuesday. Max, you said you're missing 2 weeks from now?
Yeah.
The 3rd, is that right?
I'll give the exact dates.
Okay.
In the thing.
We'll probably still do a show if Adam can somehow put Max's character in a weird spot where we don't necessarily need him. So we'll work towards that next week and see if we can get there.
See what happens.
Yeah. Cool. Anyways, that's going to do it. Thank you guys so much for watching here on this special episode on a Monday. We'll see you next Tuesday at 6 o'clock Eastern for more. We're out. Bye-bye.